I'm live. Yes, I'm live. Hello, peoples. John with you again for another Friday night. Yep, it's Friday night again, and it's time for another live stream. Okay, excuse my arm across the leg. Del there. Hello. How's it going? How are things with you? Hope you had a good week. I've had quite a busy week, I must admit. Very, very busy week. Been playing around with this. Which one is this? This is the elephant. Yes, the elephant. And as you may have noticed, I'm doing it really based towards helping out beginner or virgin modelers. I think it's a good idea, to be quite honest with you. Evening, John. Hello, Jake. Where are we? John Shannon. Evening, John. Hope you are keeping well. I am. I'm keeping well. Hope my face isn't a bit too shiny there. Hold on. If I move the light back there. Hi. How's that? That's probably a bit better. Stephen, how are you? Thank you very much for that, Stephen. I really appreciate it. Really, really do appreciate that. That was extremely generous. Thank you very much. As I was just talking there about my new project, the elephant, and how I'm doing it, really based towards the beginner modeler, and somebody getting into modeling, and literally, just showing the basic tools, all you need to do to make a kit. Some basic tools, nothing, staying away from sort of modeling product type stuff. In other words, you can just go up and buy a kit and use bits and pieces that you have around the house to build it. And if you like it, then go off and get more better bits and pieces. Now, I was asked a question. Mr. Ian James asked me a question. Ian will probably be in later on. Good evening, Kevin. How are you? Ian Devechis. Good evening. And Dave Thomas. How are you? But Ian asked me, was I going to spray paint this model or hand paint it? Now, I know this whole thing is based towards the beginner modeler, but I am going to spray, unfortunately. Reason is, as you may have noticed through all my videos, I mostly use Tamiya paints. Okay, and I bought quite a good selection of Tamiya paints, and I find they're very, say, economical when you're spraying. You don't use as much as you would when you're hand painting. So the paints that I have are all Tamiyas. And if anybody has ever tried to hand paint with Tamiyas, it's okay for, say, doing figures, doing camouflage patterns, things like that. Tools, toe ropes, all that kind of stuff with Tamiya paint is grand when your hand paintings are small. But if you're doing, say, the sides of vehicles and things like that, hand painting is not the thing with Tamiya paints. They dry out too fast. You're kind of dragging, clumping and things like that. They're not really made for hand painting. So I will be spraying, but I will be kind of saying to people why I'm spraying. It's just that I don't have suitable paints for hand painting. Now, for those of you that do hand paint and want to hand paint, I would definitely choose I like the Citadel paints. They're more based towards the gamer type place. You'll find them in game places. Games Workshop is another name for Citadel. Well, it's one of their spin-off brands, shall we say. But they're a much better paint for hand painting. You can kind of if you do it properly, you can literally eliminate brush strokes and things with them. They're that good because they level down after a while. They're sort of a slower drying. They're a quick drying, but they're slower, shall we say, than sort of the Tamiya stuff. So I will be spraying. I will be doing the camouflage pattern by hand. So something anyway. So like I said, I will kind of stick to beginner basics as much as I can. Now, in the last video that I was saying I was going to do the figures for it and put the figures in place and all that. And I made down one of the figures, and they're fucking horrible. Excuse my language, but they're really bad. And they're so bad that I'm just not going to use them. I am not going to use them. I'm going to explain it in the video as well as to you now. Like, there's a nice close up of one of the figures, right? Hopefully that in a second. There we go. They are freaking horrible figures. I mean, there's the seat that your man is supposed to sit into. He's supposed to sort of sit with his back up straight to that, and that's how he kind of pops up through the turret. But when you sort of put him on it, you see how badly he sits on it. Even, you know, he won't even. You can't even kind of glue him properly to the seat. They're just, and he was sort of his legs and all that were sort of pre-molded into that shape. It's not a case of I put them in together wrong or whatever. That is the shape that he came. That is the only way you can kind of really make this figure. It's just sort of a torso, and the leg, the bottom section is already sort of there. So it doesn't even look anything like what's there on the instructions. And they're horrible figures anyway. So what I'm going to do is when it comes to the painting of the vehicle, I'm going to stick in a little bit about figure painting for beginners, just in case you get a kit that's got a good figure with it. And I've got somewhere around, I've got some unmade figures, and they're actually quite good. I think they're mini art figures. So I'm going to show them the sort of the figure painting with that, because it is something that's that frightens living daylights out of beginners, and you don't have to be frightened. Even frighten some of the seasoned modelers. But there is a way of painting figures that I kind of did for ages, and I still do to a certain degree, and you get quite a good effect without much work. So is it a kind of a bluffing thing? I don't know. Unlike, say, 1/16 figures, which you can't bluff. I'm doing a set at the moment. As you know, I'm doing this. There we go. I'm doing this little Fallschirmjäger 20mm cannon. I suppose it is. It is an anti-tank gun. It is kind of 20mm, which wouldn't really do that much difference or that much damage to a tank. I don't think. We'll take out soft skin vehicles and things like that, and it's probably a good sort of crowd suppressor. Keep down plenty of people like that if you've got one of them things firing at you. But this is sort of a single round at a time. It's not even sort of a 20mm machine gun kind of thing. But Fallschirmjäger had those things, so they were kind of taken apart and put into a drop vehicle tank thingamajiggy box. That's a technical term. I bet you that's a technical term. There's Ian. Oh, hello, Ian. How are you, Ian James? I should have waited until you joined, actually. You asked me a question, was I going to spray paint or was I going to hand paint the elephant? And I'm going to spray paint it purely because I don't have hand paint suitable. I use the Tamiya paints, and I've got a range of Tamiya paints, and that is the only reason why I'm not going to hand paint it. I will explain it in the next video. I explained it a little bit earlier on without going into too much detail, but I will explain it on the video when I get around to doing the next installment. Like I said, I'm working on this. This is don't know what make it is. I got it from AliExpress. They're resin. It comes with two figures. I have the figures painted up. They're okay. They're not bad. Oops, it easy. I've got sort of the first step done with the figures. That's in the base colors down on them. I know the faces look a bit frightening at the moment. Now the colours of those are actually, I explained this before a long time ago, but when I hold them back, you can see that they're actually skin tones. But for some reason, the closer they get to a camera, they get more yellow. They don't really look kind of skin tones at all. Now that fella, I got to do a little bit more work to his face. This chap I'm a little bit more happy with. Okay, how his face came out. But they are lovely, lovely figures. Like I said, they're just the base colours down. I'm going to glass coat them now and start weathering them. They're not doing. They're not super painted, I must admit, because I'm not exactly a super figure painter. But I'll be happy enough with them. I hope. So anyway, like I said, I'm doing the elephant at the moment. A couple of, I think it was about a year ago, I did the Zvezda Ferdinand, which was the original one. And there's the Ferdinand. Okay, that's the Ferdinand I did some time ago. It's a Zvezda kit, beautiful, beautiful kit. Very, very nice indeed. Like all the newer Zvezda kits, I think they're absolutely fabulous. That's the Zvezda one, right? And you can kind of see as I'm building it up, I can see the main differences. I mean, that's as far as I've gotten now with the elephant. One is the Ferdinand, the other one is the elephant. The earlier one was the elephant, or Ferdinand. This one's got a little bow machine gun on him, which was added. And also they changed the commander originally had sort of a flappy hatch, and the elephant then they gave him a proper cupola. You could kind of have a good look out before he stuck his freaking head out, which is handy. I must admit, it's handy. It's handy to be able to sort of have a kind of a sneak preview of what's out there before you go sticking your head out a hatch. So anyway, that's roughly what I've been working on. So now it's a kind of just back to chat time. So let's have a quick look back at the chat. Boom, boom, boom. Where are we? Ian John Shanahan. Going to have the hatches closed. So yes, I am going to have the hatches closed, especially with those figures. They are freaking horrible. And he was actually the best of the three. There's three figures with it. And I had a close look at their faces and things like that. And I went, oh, I'm not going to enjoy painting those. They're so freaking bad. And when you're going to use something as part of a kind of a tutorial to a certain degree, you want something a little bit more decent. So that's why I said I've got some mini art figures there. I think they're mini art actually, but I show the kind of the painting technique with those rather than using those things. They're freaking horrible. And I'm going to explain to people like that. If you get a kit, especially an older kit, that's got say figures, and the figures are freaking bad. They really are bad. You're better off just not using them rather than say trying to make old figures look good. Do a fabulous job, say, on your vehicle, and then have these horrible figures on it. Which, if you look at some pictures that some people have done of models, the vehicle looks good, and then you got these horrible figures, and it just ruins. I think it ruins the overall picture of it. I really think it does. I think it does. I think it kind of ruins the whole thing, and bad figures then can ruin the whole vehicle. So it's better off not using them rather than using them. So there you go, John. I'm going to have the hatches closed on this one. John Mason, hello. How are you? Liam Kelly, good evening, John. Good evening, Liam. Thank you for the tip with the highlighter pen, but couldn't find a student to buy them. And it's school time and all. You could go out and sort of distract them. Oh, look at that. Over the head and Robbie's highlighter pens. The camo looks well on the Ferdinand. Mr. Del Dare. Yeah, I kind of quite happy with that camouflage actually. That's sprayed. It's an easy camouflage pattern to do actually. It's just sort of spider webs. It's very, very easy to do. I hope I win the lottery tonight, chance, so I can buy you a better camera. Thank you, Ian. Yeah, the lotto in Ireland was won there last week. Some lucky punter won 10 million. 10 million euro. What I wouldn't do with 10 million euro. I'd still be here doing my videos. I promise I would. Mr. Sausage Fingers, hello, how are you? I love that name, Mr. Sausage Fingers. Good evening, John. Good evening, Mr. Sausage Fingers. Del dear, what's Santa bringing you? I haven't a clue what she's bringing me. And do you notice how I said she? Because in my house, Santa Claus is a woman. Mrs. M is Santa Claus. And she's never let me down so far. She just knows me so well. And she buys the thing that I wouldn't actually think of buying, but ends up being the best present ever, if you know what I mean. I try not to I try to stay away for Christmas. I try to stay away from, say, getting a kit for Christmas or something like that. Usually I would splash out and buy myself a kit for Christmas. I'll always buy myself a nice kit around Christmas time. But as an actual present from somebody, no. I don't think I've ever been sort of given a present of a kit. Mrs. M gives me a little budget to buy a kit, but then she always buys me a nice present as well. So I'm spoiled. I am by Mrs. M. Robbie B, hello to all. Santa, a camera, please. Yes. Yeah, a decent camera. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the camera that I have for most of what I do, even for this kind of thing. But when you want to start showing something up close and proper colors, this camera it's not really that refined. It is a HD camera, but for some reason, I don't know, it doesn't zoom in. Well, not zoom in. It will zoom in, but it won't. What's the word I'm looking for? It won't focus so quick. It takes ages to actually focus on things, and it kind of throws the color off as well sometimes. Like I start doing the weathering now on the front of the gun, right? Now I know I got to kind of cover off because of the light. Obviously, the light is going to affect it, but there we go. I got to go right in for you to see sort of the effect that I'm doing. Okay, I'm going for that sort of reasonably well chipped paint and things like that on it. Well, that's only sort of the first layer of the weathering. I only started that this evening. And that's with the dark iron. Yeah, dark iron XF84 from Tamiya. Lovely paint to use for chips and things. I just like it. Unless you're going for sort of a rusty-ish look underneath, then I go for say a different color. I kind of mix a bit of if you mix a bit of hull red with the dark iron, you get a nice base rusty color that you can kind of work on again. Then after that, right. John Shannon asks me, how many kits would you have on the go at any one time? Normally, I just do one at a time. It's just that with those figures and this anti-tank gun thing, I have a base there. I'm going to do a base for it and everything else. I suppose you could call it a commission build to a certain degree. It's for a friend of mine, and because there was no instructions with it. There were some sort of loose pieces in a bag. I got them from AliExpress in China, so that's why I decided not to do sort of standalone videos on them, and I'm only kind of showing them here on this on the Friday night live stream. So I sort of have to have a kit then to build while I'm doing the keep the channel going, keep the channel rolling, keep the interest there. And so normally it's just one kit at a time. When I finish that kit, I might give it a day, 2 days, and then I'll do my usual unboxing and start building then straight away. Robbie B, I always have 3 at any one time. 3 on the go, yes. I'm the same usually, but that's only just with women. I wouldn't have a hope. I wouldn't be able to satisfy one. Yeah, John, you're dead right there. The camera I have, it's not made for the job that I'm doing. It's just a webcam. It's like I said, it's brilliant for this. It's okay. I mean, it's lasted me this long now for this channel, and that's what I've been using. And loads of people have come back and said that the quality of the pictures isn't as good. The focusing isn't the best in it either, and the colors are slightly off. So yeah, it's been good so far. It's been good to get the channel up and running and off, and you know, sort of a good kickstart to it. But I would just like it to go up another level. Okay, I don't want to get into the realms of being sort of it being a sort of a really professional channel with all the the fancy editing and all that kind of thing, and me there with a sort of a pre-written script and sort of lose my sense of humor and my sense of thing. I think I wouldn't like that. I'd probably end up scrapping the whole thing very, very fast. I'd lose a certain amount of my subscribers as well, because a lot of the subscribers, the people that do watch me, are the fact that it is the way it is, if that makes any sense. The fact that it is to a certain degree haphazard, and I'm kind of not one of these people that's telling you how to do this. This is how you do this, and watch this technique. This is how this technique is done. No. Learn for yourself. I'll show you techniques. I'd say go check out other types of techniques and find your own little niche. Find your own way of doing things. And you'll find over time that you'll try out. When it comes to, say, weathering, I must have tried maybe 20, 30 different types of techniques. Some worked, some didn't. Some I've even got to the stage where I've had to kind of totally wipe out, say to myself, right, I done a video saying, and the next now I'm going to do such and such a wash and this, that, and the other to it. Done those things to it, totally horrible, and spent maybe a day trying to clean it all back off again, and then gone off and saying, well, I didn't bother doing that because I just didn't like it, But it's what works for you, and you try out what works for you, and even at that, then once you get to that, you want to kind of make that better, try different things within that. Like I said at the start, I'd never bother going into the oil washes and things like that. I used to use at one stage I was using a thing called what's it called, sludge wash, where I was mixing pigments up. When I say pigments now, I was using chalk pastels. Now, it is actually a good, quite a nice technique, but I was overusing it. And if you go back to, say, videos I was doing maybe 2 years ago, you'll see I was using quite a lot of that. And thing is, I haven't used them since, because I overdid it and I sickened myself about them. And it's where you kind of just make it reasonably thick paste without actually being, just not really necessarily a paste. How would you call it? A sludge, watery sludge with the pigments in it, and you just basically plaster the whole vehicle with it, leave it dry, and then start removing it with a brush and some water, and removing it off all the flat panels, and it sort of builds up in little areas and things like that. And if you use the right colors, it looks good. It does look good, because you can get those little build up of dirt and grime that would actually be in places. But the thing I did find about it then is, once you go on then and try other weathering techniques, it tends to wash it all away and stuff. And I was trying to get somewhere that worked, that I could say do the oil or the white spirit based washes and acrylic washes and use the two together. And no, they won't seem to work out. Next thing I'm going to try actually is do the oil ones first, give them a day or two to dry, and then try, say, sludge wash over that. Will that work? I don't know. It sounds as if it should. You know, I get my mud build up over grease and stuff like that. So give it a try. I'll give it a try at some stage. I just have to go off and buy some new chalk pastels. I gave mine to Abby there during the summer, and she sort of took chalk pastels, and she was making lovely pictures out in the footpath. That's what she used them for. Here we go. Back to the where are we? Go back to the no, Mr. Sausage Finger said, John, when was the last time you did an Airfix kit? I'm building one at the moment in 135, the honey tank. I'm pleasantly surprised. Airfix, the last time we did an Airfix kit was about 3 or 4 years ago. I did the 1/24th scale Spitfire. If anybody's ever thinking of buying that kit, I'll give them one piece of advice. Don't. I'm not an airplane modeler. I'm an armor modeler. I do build the odd airplane. I have 2 there in the stash, believe it or not. I'm a little fighter and I have a bomber. But I've even looked at videos of people that have done it after, and they also agree, don't. So that was the only Airfix kit that I've done, say, recently. Before that, it would have been in the 70s. 70s. Maybe the early 80s, but mostly the 70s when I was a kid. That's when I used to build my Airfix. Still there. I can't get the eyes right on figures, no matter what I do. They look like cartoon eyes. Any tips? Well, I don't do eyes on 1/35th scale. I find that if you just use the basic, I'll be doing a video, like I said, on figures as part of this whole thing, and I'll be using a decent figure for it. And what I do with the eyes is, say with we'll get this chap's eyes here, right? That's a 1/16 scale, right? Now, if you look at them close up now, I've just got to do some touch-ups on those, right? Now, when you come back at distance, they actually look okay, but when you look close up like that close, they're freaking horrible. But then again, you get that with any of them. What I find is, get an off-white. If you haven't got an off-white, just mix a bit of flesh tone through your white. Just make the white not so stark white, and do a nice big white in there. The whole area white, the whole eye area in white. Don't try to be too precise with that. Okay. Then get blue. Now, a dark blue or a light blue or a brown, not black. Stay away from black. Black will make them look cartoonish. Oh, excuse me. Get the thinnest brush you have. And instead of trying to do a dot, do a line. Straight down. Okay. Line straight down to the white. Then with your flesh tones, then sort of blend back in some more flesh color in at the top, in at the bottom, in at the top, in at the bottom, and make it, smaller and smaller and smaller, and you'll end up then with reasonably okay. They won't look cartoonish because you don't have that sort of perfectly dot type thing, and it it works. It works. It works for me, and just play around with that idea. I've tried it in 1/35th scale. Kind of works, but literally it depends on the figures. It really depends on the figures. Some figures it works on, some figures it won't. And with the figures it won't, what I'll do is, like I said, I just do maybe the white. Don't try and do the eye dot, and give the faces then a black wash. Very light black wash. Use sort of gloss coat the face, use the black wash, use an oil wash, and then clean off 95% of your wash, and that'll leave the eyes kind of slightly dark and thing. Because if you see a person, say, that's standing any more than 10 feet away from you, you can't actually see their eyes. You know that they're there, but even think about it. Like, you look at a person, it's only when you see them close up that you actually can see the eyes. From about 10 feet away, you can't really see the eye, the pupil part of the eye. It's just a kind of a little dark area in there. So that's when I decided to go that way. And it was from watching a couple of, I can't remember the modeler that did it, that showed that technique. And I should check it out, because, you know, like, I have to give him the credit for, say, the whole idea of the paint the whole thing white with the stripe. I want to say Shane Smith, but I don't think it was Shane. I must get back to you on that one, Del. But yeah, I did have that problem for ages, but that technique does work for me. Mr. Robbie B. Kits John to armor one aircraft. What do you mean, kits? John, 2 armor 1 aircraft. I'd go armor more than aircraft, if that's what you're asking me. Must give you a look at my camera and see if something like it would meet your needs. I presume meet my needs, John. I can only slag John because I know him personally. All right, John. John's an ex-army buddy of mine. Yeah, I actually have a camera picked out. I did a bit of good old proper research into this one, and I decided that, you know, it's good to go for the camera that I really want, rather than trying to settle for something that will kind of do. Okay, the camera I've picked out is a Canon EOS 2000D. Now that will do absolutely perfect for my stills. It's got excellent video quality. It's got quite a good quality quick focus. It's brilliant for literally for what I want it for. Okay, it would be sort of ideal for what I want it for, and it can be sort of linked in through the computer. You can say operate it all through your mouse, through your computer, the whole lot. You don't actually have to have a separate thing. So it's I mean, you can even link up your screen. That it links in with the computer. It comes with all that software built in, already pre-built into the camera. So that's why I've picked out that's the camera I've picked out. And like I said, I did research it properly. Canon EOS 2000D. They're about, pick up between about €400 and €500. I know it's very expensive, but you get what you pay for, like everything else. And you know, that's basically what I'm looking for. Liam Kelly, Johnny, have you ever made the Centurion from Amusing Hobbies? Just got one bought for me. I have never made anything from Amusing Hobbies, I must admit. The Centurion. Which one was the Centurion now? Was the Centurion the one they used in Vietnam? I think not Vietnam, but Korea. I think that was a Centurion, wasn't it? Yeah. Um, I did a Centurion in 1/24th scale. I have it just in front of me there, and I think that was a Tamiya kit actually. Oh, there she is. The top of it is actually after falling down the back of my shelf unit there. But there she is, this Centurion. Tamiya 1/24th scale. Lovely kit. It comes with a nice interior turret, all the workings and all that kind of thing. And you can pop off the front, and you've got your driver in there, and all his doohickeys and all that in there as well. Found out a very interesting thing when I was building that the interiors weren't white, they were silver. Well, aluminium, I think. Flat aluminium, the colour for them. But yeah, that was a lovely kit. That's the only Centurion I've done. I have done, say, there's is it the Galbatash or something like that? No, no, how was it? Oh, it's an Israeli yoke. Nagmachan. That's Centurion based. It uses a Centurion chassis, and they turn it into a sort of a heavily armored APC machine gun based thingamajiggy that they go off in the end of the Palestinians with. That's the only Centurion I've ever done. Robbie B, I love this format. Yeah, I think I like it myself, as in the fact it's not too I try not to be condescending, you know. I want to be kind of do it as a friendly channel, and it's a case of if you make a mistake, so what? Who cares? You know. And if I make a mistake, I'll show it, and I say, oh, well, fuck it. It didn't work out, or whatever. It just goes to show that not everything has to be perfect. Not every kit you do, not every one you're going to make or thing like that is going to turn out perfect and excellent. They don't always do. I've seen, I have some kits there that I look back on and say, well, I should have done that better, and that technique didn't work out, or that one didn't work out. But I showed it, the whole thing is a learning curve, and it's just like to show people that I'm learning as much as I'm trying to show people as well. As Robert B says, warts and all. Yes. I have my wart. Dave Thomas says, I love your grassroots style, John. Don't change it. I have no intentions of. I don't think I know how to do any other thing than that. There we go. All I got to do is jump up this thing again. Where are we? Del army training, improvise, adapt, and overcome. Yeah, that's it. Make the best out of what you have, because you ain't getting any more. What was it? There was a picture shared on Facebook. Somebody put it up. Show these guys lining up in their civvies, and they're being handed their uniforms, and there's your uniform, there's your uniform, there's your uniform, and the comment caption over it is that the corporal is there handing, say that civvy his uniform, is saying, if it fits, come back and we'll sort of fix it for you. That sort of says it all, doesn't it? If it fits, there's something wrong. Do you ever revisit old bills and change or improve them? I've been tempted to on occasion, but I still. The way I've decided is that by having them there and seeing where I went wrong is a reminder not to do that again, rather than, say, covering it up and redoing it. it just, I know it's not, say, being dishonest, but to me, it's a kind of, your kits aren't that super expensive, and especially the kits I build anyway. So why not just leave them and show the mistakes? Because I make them on the videos, so I've already shown the mistake that I've already made. So why go off and cover the whole thing up and try and fix that? Why not start fresh with another new one and don't make those mistakes? That to me is sort of a better idea, to be honest. I must agree, the present format is fine. Love the fact that it's down to earth and basic modeling. Thank you, Mr. Sausage Fingers. Del Dare, cheers for that tip. I'll give it a go. Yeah, on the eyes. Give it a go. That's all you can do. I mean, I tried a couple of different techniques that a couple of people have tried, and some of them worked, some of them didn't, and I tried to stay away from that pure clownish look, because it put me off doing faces and eyes for ages and ages and ages, and I said I'd give it a go. Mr. Common Road Junction, hello all. There's my Mr. Train Track Man. Oh, I loved trains. I love trains. There's no space here, but I remember, I was even saying it to him that when I was a kid and I used to play with when I used to build my models to play with rather than sort of get my enjoyment a different way out of them now. I had a big bedroom and like loads of space, but I lived in the attic. Sounds weird, but it was an actual staircase up to the attic. It was the third floor of the house. And it was only me and my brother there. And I had two big 8x4 sheets of chipboard in an L-shaped. And I had my train tracks on it. And I had a couple of engines and things like that. And me being me, it was the whole thing. Instead of being sort of civilian-based, I based mine army-based. And shall we say, I badly painted some railway tracks, and not tracks, but carriages, and then flatbeds and all that kind of thing. And I had my tanks on them, which were also very badly painted, using the old enamels. In other words, not giving them the proper day or two to dry, fingerprints and all that kind of stuff in them. But yeah, I do like my trains. Shane Smith is only a 5 minutes walk from me, John. Oh, is he up your? I know he was Galway, but he's your area of Galway. Yes. John Shannon, yes, slag away. Yeah, we're all used to it at this stage. Exactly. As someone said to me, I was in the army a couple of months, and someone said, "Yeah, you weren't issued with feelings in the army. It's not on your B. A B is it's your 245B. It's your issue of your uniform, and basically anything you're issued with in the army is your 245B. And feelings don't appear on that. So therefore, if you're not issued with them, you don't have them. So you don't have feelings in the army. Centurions were used in the Vietnam by the Australians too. That's right. Yes. That's why I kind of thought of the first thing that clicked into my head was Vietnam, because I'm watching a kind of some videos there I found on the YouTubes on Vietnam. It's I'm sure my American friends out there will probably remember. It was I think it was a weekly television series called The Big Picture, and it was run by the Department of Defense. The Army used to run it, and there's loads of following different units around Vietnam. They're very, very interesting. And at one stage then they met up with they did a thing on their Australian allies, and it showed the Australians with the Centurions. Liam Kelly, yes, it was Korea. Yeah, that's why this one here that I did is Korea based. It's British. Came with a couple of nice figures in it as well. That's Korea. Ian James says 280 on eBay or 140 pre-owned. That's pounds sterling. Yes, I can get them from England for around that, around 300 sterling. Then when you include changing that over then to euro and add in then your delivery charge, it works out practically the same as what I'd buy it here over the counter for. And the thing about buying it over the counter is you get your guarantee with it. If anything goes wrong, you've got a place that I can actually go to. And when you're spending that kind of money, like I said, 300 or 400 quid, I prefer to sort of be able to bring it back if something is wrong with it. 140 pre-owned. Again, do I want to buy something pre-owned? You don't have a guarantee with it. It's something that, I'd want to be guaranteed it's a good second-hand one before I'd buy something like that. It's just, I got caught too many times in the past buying second-hand stuff. And I'm always afraid since. Okay, I'm always been afraid since. Biggest thing I got caught on buying second-hand was a Harley Davidson that I paid €11,000 for. I had it for about 3 or 4 years, never had a problem with it. I found it absolutely fabulous. Went to trade it on, and basically the person I went to trade it on into was a Harley Davidson dealership, and they basically had a look underneath the bike, and there's a plate underneath the bike that kind of really holds everything together. And your man said that plate had been taken off and re-welded on pretty badly because the whole thing had been shunted. So they refused to sort of give me the trade-in on it because they wouldn't take it because, as far as they were concerned, it was dangerous. And I ended up selling it for about, I think I got 4,000 for a finish, and I was lucky to get that. And that was that, So that was the biggest thing, shall we say, I got caught on second-hand. And buying something internet-wise second-hand, that old fear, that whole thing comes back and haunts me. Gabriel Gonzo, that's awesome. I presume you're talking about my Centurion being awesome. Common Road Junction, how is everyone? Yes. Gabriel Gonzo, I'm good. How are you? Common Road Junction. Hey, John. Common Road Junction. Good to hear. Gabriel Gonzo. Okay, thanks, Gabriel Gonzo. We've always been very helpful and chill. Oh, you've always been very helpful and chill. I try to chill. I do like to be chilled. Dave Gilmer, how are you? Shine on, you crazy diamond. Nigel's modeling bench. Hi, John. How are you keeping? Keep the idiots away from live chat on your streaming shows. I don't know. I think the fact that one night we were bothered with them all right. I remember one night that there was a couple of them in. I think they kind of travel in batches. And I think it was the fact that we totally ignored them. It was only when I went down to the chat and I was trying to get through the chat, it totally confused me, and I was all over the shop. The following night, then I think I had one, and I just sort of the little 3 dot thing. I can block them from that, and I did. And since then, we've just never been bothered with them. Been lucky in that, because usually you get the trolls, the internet trolls. They travel in bunches. Not everything perfect. What would be the 12th thing? Yeah, what was the 12th thing? Exactly, yes, the 12th. What John is referring to there is my battalion, 12th Battalion, 12th Infantry Battalion, Sarsfield Barracks, Limerick. Common Road Junction. Hey, Nigel Delder. 2 size, too big or too small? Yes. Yeah. They're the two sizes. And if you go to the Middle East and you're buying something off what we used to call the Mindy men, guys who set up shops and sell stuff out of the back of their cars to you on clothes and things like that. And you go to them and you're going to buy a pair of Levi's and you go, what size are those? Your size. Yes, Irish. Your size. And you can be guaranteed you try them on, they fucking fit perfectly. They can tell just by looking at you what size they are. They used to be brilliant salesmen, absolutely fabulous salesmen. Get a pair of Levi's for a tenner. Made in somewhere in the back of Beirut or someplace like that. And they weren't genuine Levi's, but they looked just the same and you couldn't tell the fucking difference. When you look back at them, see that you improve them over time and experience. Exactly. That's why I do it, John. In other words, leave them there. There's one or two. I mean, there's one of the tigers there. I really sorry I didn't do a better job when it, especially because I think it was the Zvezda one that's got an interior turret, and I didn't have my airbrush at the time, and I hand painted it, and it just didn't really work out too well. It's not bad at all, but I know that with if I could have sort of airbrushed the inside of it, it would have been much better, because it just needs that little bit thinner of paint, shall we say. Oh, and like I said, when you hand paint, especially getting the main color down on the inside, you need it to be very thin, otherwise everything doesn't seem to fit properly. Bruno Calico, hi, where do you store your bills? Lack of space and dust are a problem. Yes, most definitely. Now, I'll just wiggle my camera around a bit and I kind of show you where I keep things. Right, there is the Abrams. What have I got there now? Right, I've got the heads are there. Up there, then, I've got a couple of Shermans. I've an M113. There's up the very top. Then I've got a that's the Mista S. It's the big Russian yoke. There's a not a Bradley, but the English version. What is the what is that yoke again, lads? Name just gone from me for a second. Quick, somebody put up in the chat what that is. It'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. And then I've got this right there. We've got just change the light around. There I've got my 1/16th 1/16th Tiger, and I've got some sort of shelves down here. Right. There's the 1/48th Phantom. Okay. There's some of the bills there, and over there along the top of my bed, then I've got my there's a line there of 4 tigers, as you can see. Okay, and then I've got a cabinet then downstairs, and I've got a couple of more of them in that, and that's basically. And I'm, as you can see, I'm sort of seriously running out of space myself. That's why I like doing, things like this, where I kind of I'm doing them first for other people. There's a couple of local kids that I have given the odd one or two to as well, if they show any bit of an interest. I'll say, here, have it. And they can take it away. What they do with it afterwards, I've no idea. But I have given away a few as well. So that's what I do with my bills. Where are we? Bum. Best Army book, the LA 30. Yeah. I went through two of them. And the only reason I went through two of them, believe it or not, is 1993. I got jaundice. I was on duty one night and I woke up, but the following morning, I was just really felt sick. So I went up to the medical house and straight away the medic looks at me and goes, "Oh, you jaundice." Because sort of the eyes were kind of yellow or whatever. So I had to go in, I had to get sort of blood tests. Went on for about a month, about 2 months actually. I had to get blood test every 2 days. Well, that's what they said anyway. I was in literally every 2 days I was getting blood tests. And every time the blood tests, and every time I went into him, the army doctor that we had at the time, he basically wrote it all into my book. Every single fucking thing. So I've literally an LA 30 full of my time that I had the jaundice. I think it was after that then, I think it was the late 90s then, they brought in the extra, remember the sheets of paper where you had your file, and anything like that went into a file, but before that, it was everything went into the second book, so I filled up the book very, very quickly. Ian James, I'm Welsh, John. Oh boy, oh, fair play to you. That's about my best Welsh accent. Okay, sorry. John, only buy a camera secondhand if you know the person you had, trust them better if you brand new with a warranty. Yep, exactly. If a friend of mine come up to me and says, I have a camera, it's a good one, I've never really used it very much, and it's DSLR, it's what you want or whatever, then I buy it. But like I said, I've been cut too many times in the past, and better buy new, and you're getting a warranty. If something goes wrong with it, you've got a bit of a comeback with it. Ian James, I don't understand euros. Okay. Euro. Just for you, Ian. That is a euro. See? €1. It is a unit of currency that we use. And it's worth about, I think it's worth about 90p sterling, or thereabouts. Between 85 and 90p sterling, or $1.10, I think, US. Which varies. Goes up, around, down, as you know yourself, with currency. But that's basically what a euro. Common Road Junction. What do you suggest is the best Tiger 1 kit to buy? That is a very, very hard question, because, like I said, I built 4. I built an academy. I built 2 academy ones. I built the Tamiya one, and I built a Zvezda one. Now, I will say the Zvezda one, value for money and for a nice kit, is a brilliant one. I do want to build more because it is my favorite tank. But at the same time, I don't want to kind of get bogged down on it. I do want to build, I would love to build a Dragon one, but they're, again, silly money for the good ones. I've watched Mr. Adam Mann's, he does a thing, Tigers for Dummies, where he goes on, what's the best sort of tiger to build, and he basically kind of he does know a fair bit about tigers, and he knows a fair bit about modeling, like him or hate him, whatever the case may be, but he does know his stuff when it comes to sort of tigers. Same with the Canadian guy. Again, my brain falls off. There's a Canadian chap. He had a sort of a tragic incident there. Was it last year or the year before? His son passed away. He's another tiger man anyway, and they do swear by the dragon ones. But there are even with the dragon ones, there's one or two that they're basically telling you to stay away from. But then again, they are what you would call, they're trying to they tell you that they're not river counters, but they're river counters. Okay, to me, they're river counters, as in the get for this one because this is more accurate, and they're sort of the wrong type clamps, whereas this one has the right type tool clamps. That to me is rivet counting. Sorry, but it is. Okay, the clamp is a clamp. I don't give a shit what it looks like as long as it holds the fucking stuff on. But of the ones I've built, I would definitely recommend the Zvezda one, the Zvezda Tiger one. Very reasonably priced and a lovely, lovely kit to build, an enjoyable kit to build. Okay. So there you go, Mr. Common Road Junction. If you can get the Zvezda kit, now you were in America, so whether you can get a Zvezda kit over there or not, I don't know because they're Russian. If not, I go the lines of there's Tamiya do a nice one, and they give you actually I've done two Tamiya ones. I've done a very, very early one, which isn't great, but I did the one that comes with a figure set. If you go back through my videos, that's a nice one as well. The Tamiya ones are good. Then again, you can never really go wrong with Tamiya unless you go very, very early. But the Tamiya ones are actually kind of good. Cushman NYC, I love your channel. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. The Warrior, thank you. It's the Warrior. Yes, the Warrior. The name just went for me from loads of people said it there. Warrior. Del Dare, Ian, Liam Kelly, and Jake all said the Warrior. Yeah, that's a Warrior. That was a lovely kit to build. That was a very, very enjoyable kit to build. I really enjoyed doing that, as I did doing the Bradley, which was the American version of one. The Meng Bradley, lovely kit, absolutely lovely kit. Really enjoyed that. I want to get that again, actually. But when I get that again, I'm going to get it, and I'm going to get the interior set for it and go mental. John Shannon, if you have the money, would you do one of the 1/6 RC kits? 1/6? Maybe not 1/6. I do a 1/16, all right. A 1/16 RC Tiger. I mean, like I've done the sort of, as you saw there when I swung that around, I have a 1/16 Tiger there. I think that would be big enough in any remote control. To me, I do one, but I think it's nearly 700 freaking quid. That, but you mean, considering that I think it's 400 and something without the motors. So you can imagine what it costs with the motors. John Mason, he's a river counter. Definitely he is, isn't he? Yeah. Adam Man. And I've nothing wrong with river counters. I'm just saying that I'm not one, and I like watching their videos. I like the fact that they go to that much detail and they care that much about it. And then when you look at their videos, they're fucking brilliant. They really are. I just watched before I came on this evening, I watched Night Shift put up a video there today. He's doing a Yag Tiger. His weathering is absolutely fab. He makes it look so flipping easy is what gets me. He makes it look as if, oh yeah, you could do a bit of this, and do a bit of that, and look, you end up with that. No, you don't. You just have the knack, or you don't, and he's absolutely fabulous. What's your favorite Tamiya armor kit? I don't really have a favorite. I have a load of Tamiya, say, armor kits that I really, really enjoy doing. Would that count? I really enjoyed the Mark IV, the World War I tank. Like I said, that Tiger was very nice. What else did I do? It was Tamiya that I really liked. The Tamiya Churchill is nice. I did the ordinary version. I did the crocodile as well. So don't really have, say, a favorite one. There's some that I really, really enjoyed doing. The Nashorn now was a beautiful kit to build, but I think it's a little bit overpriced for what it is. I know they had to kind of go out and it's a whole new retool that they did on it. Fabulous kit. If you can afford to go off and spend good enough money on kits, then that is a decent kit to buy. It's the Nashorn. To me, one comes with a full set of figures and all for that beautiful kit. So I don't really have a favorite Tamiya kit. I just sort of like, in general, I like all Tamiya kits. I don't think I've ever really had a bad one. Night, John, dog walking time. Thanks for the show. Yeah, it's 10:10. I'm finishing up myself and just finish off the last of the chat there now, and I'll be finishing up myself. Common Road Junction, he does make it look so easy. It's so annoying, isn't it? Isn't it? Absolutely. But he's just brilliant, and I love his. I think it's his accent that makes it, and he's just so fun. He just makes it sound so fun. Yeah, Mr. Night Shift is absolutely brilliant. Go over there if you're not subscribed to him. Get over there and subscribe to the chap. He's well worth it, and he does take the time to show you how to do things. That's what I do like about it. That's the way I'd like to do my channel. If that's where I need sort of the editing software, because it takes time for waiting for things to dry a little bit, and then you can kind of move on and stuff. Would like to do sort of a few more sort of how I do things, but for that you do need editing software for that. Nigel's money been one about the Tamiya M40. John must be right up there with your favorites. The Tamiya M40. What was the M40? M40. Excuse my ignorance now, but the M40. M40. Enter. Boom, 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 boom. Brilliant. I'm getting Samsung Galaxy M40. Oh, the M was the M. Right, the M48 was a tank. It was a Patton. The M46 and the M10 tank destroyer. M40, don't know. Nigel, what is the M40? Sorry. Kevin Egan, thanks, John. I have to go pick up the Mrs. from work. Talk to you later. See you next week, Kev. Look after yourself, bud. I think so, John Mason. Yes, referring to Mr. Adam Mann. Great show, John, as normal. David Crimless runs from London through Oxford Way. Oh, the M40, is it? Oh, that's the M40 motorway, is it? Yeah. A self-propelled artillery gun used in Korea. Don't think I've done one. Oh, yes. No, I do know it. I do know the M40. I haven't actually done that kit. I've never done that kit. I've seen it, but I haven't actually done that. It's on my to-do list. I must admit, it is on my to-do list. I've quite a long list of stuff that I want to actually do. I want to do a Paladin as well. That's the 155. Personal reasons for wanting to do them came under fire from them. The Israelis use them, and you could hear them sort of when they're firing. And when those things sort of fly overhead, it's like a train. And wallop, and then the ground kind of shakes a bit. So that's why I want to do a kind of one of the paladins. So anyway, lads, that's it. That's it for another live stream. I hope you all sort of got something from it anyway, even if it was just sort of passing a bit of time. I will see you all again next week, next Friday. Don't forget to stay tuned to the channel for all the normal good stuff where I'm doing my the elephant. Yes, I'm doing the Nephilant, the beginner series, but I will be doing it as I normally do kits anyway. I'm doing sort of beginner wise, as in showing some of the basic techniques, and that anybody can sort of pick up a kit and build it. Really, you don't have to be kind of an expert. Don't be frightened off from them, because they can be a kind of a frightening thing when you open it up and you see all the plastic in front of you and go, "Ah, God, I'll never be able to do that." And I know loads of people have done it, and they've closed the box up again, up into the attic, never to take it out. And believe me, I do know a few. I do know of a few people. I have a couple of friends of mine that say, "Oh, I have something up in the attic." I said, "Well, get it down and give it to me, or get it down and do it." One or the other. Just get it down anyway. Don't leave it sort of dust away. So anyway, that's it. I'll see you next week. Stay safe, enjoy your modeling, be nice to one another. Go out and buy yourself a kit, build it and enjoy it, or get the kit down from the attic, build that and enjoy that. I'll see you next week, lads. Stay safe.